What if I told you that one of the biggest betrayals in hip-hop didn't happen in a recording studio, but in a quiet hotel room no one was supposed to know about? It sounds like something straight out of a movie, but the story of Remy Ma, Papoose, and Fat Joe just got a whole lot more complicated. A video has surfaced allegedly showing something that could change how we see their entire history. And it didn't come from a hacker or some random gossip site. It came from Papoose himself. Here's what went down. The footage came from an old surveillance camera in a dim hallway at a Miami hotel. The date was April 3rd, 2011, at exactly 2:17 a.m. Two very familiar faces quietly slipped past the hotel lobby. Remy Ma and Fat Joe. The hotel check-in receipt showed a signature. Reminisce Mackey, Remy Ma's legal name. But what really caught attention was the other name on the file, Joseph Cartagena, known to the world as Fat Joe. At first, some thought it might just be a coincidence. Maybe it was music-related. But then came the twist. Papoose himself found the footage completely by accident. While cleaning and deleting old emails and files from an iPad Remy used to write lyrics during her early parole days, he stumbled across a file named 7th Floor. The video was short but powerful. It showed Fat Joe entering the hotel hallway first, then Remy walking in just a few seconds later. No glam squad. No bodyguards, no stylists, just the two of them. And they didn't leave that room until the following morning. Remy claimed it was all for business, something to do with music. But if that were true, why had this video stayed hidden for so long? And why did Papoose look shaken after watching it? To understand why this hit so hard, we need to rewind a bit and look at how deep these connections go. Remy Ma and Fat Joe go way back. Their bond started in the early 2000s in the Bronx, rooted in loyalty, street history, and music. Remy wasn't just any rapper. She was handpicked and mentored by Big Pun. After Pun passed away in 2000, Fat Joe stepped up as a mentor and protector, helping guide Remy's career. From the outside, they looked like family. Fans even saw them as a brother-sister duo. But people close to them say that was just for the cameras. There were always whispers that their relationship went deeper than friendship. Some insiders from the Terror Squad, their rap collective, said they saw things that suggested more was going on. There were reports of the two spending long nights in the studio and walking out holding hands. Of course, anytime someone asked about it, they denied it. Still, the chemistry was obvious. Then came Lean Back, the 2004 hit that took over the charts. Remy's career exploded, and Fat Joe was right there beside her. But with success came tension, creative disagreements, secret studio sessions, and jealousy bubbling beneath the surface. Things really got serious in 2007, when Remy Ma was arrested and later sentenced to 8 years in prison. Everyone expected Papoose, her then partner, to stand by her, hand. He did. But what most people didn't know was that Fat Joe was visiting her too. Visitor logs from Rikers Island, later leaked online, show that Joe visited Remy multiple times under coded names. These visits weren't reported by the press and didn't show up on social media, but they happened. And according to one former prison employee, those visits were emotional. He described Joe as calm but intense, like he had something heavy to say each time. Fast forward to Remy's release. She did her time, came home, and rejoined the spotlight. She married Papoose, and everything seemed perfect on the surface. But as the years passed, cracks began to form. That's when Papoose found the iPad buried in some old storage boxes. He didn't go off. That's not his style. Instead, he started asking quiet questions. He reached out to people who used to work with Remy, old managers, stylists, engineers. He even contacted Remy's former personal stylist, someone who had left her team years ago for mysterious reasons. According to someone close to the situation, that stylist didn't hold back. She told Papoose that Joe's interest in Remy went beyond music. She said that whenever Remy wasn't around, Joe would cancel studio sessions. He depended on her not just for her talent, but for something more emotional, she claimed there. Were even rumors of a 2006 trip to Puerto Rico? The Terror Squad was performing there. And after the show, most of the team went back to their hotel. But Remy and Joe, they were allegedly seen together on a private yacht. Even more shocking when Papoose finally confronted Fat Joe. Joe didn't deny it. He didn't lash out or call it a lie. He just said, "It's not what you think," and left it at that. Now imagine being Papoose. The man who stood by Remy during her darkest years, who held her down during her trial, her prison sentence, her comeback. And now he's watching a video of her walking into a hotel with another man, his friend, his musical partner, someone who was supposed to be like family. That's not just betrayal. That's betrayal wrapped in silence. So what happens now? Papoose hasn't gone public with this yet. No diss tracks, no Instagram posts, no interviews. But he's moving carefully, talking to the people who were really there back then. He's piecing the story together, not for revenge, but for truth. Because what's at stake isn't just a relationship or a marriage. It's a whole legacy. The Terror Squad was more than a rap group. It was a movement, a family, or so we thought. This isn't just gossip. This is about how trust can fall apart, even among people who fought their way to the top together. The Remy Ma and Fat Joe story has always had layers. But now we're peeling back the ones no one wanted us to see, and we're just getting started. Stay tuned, because what's coming next might change everything you thought you knew about the heart and the history of hip-hop. A story of secrets, silence, and the streets that never forget. He just said, "You don't want to go down that road." That's all he said. A simple sentence, but it carried the weight of something much bigger. It felt like someone saying, "Yeah, I buried the body, but trust me, he had it coming." That kind of answer doesn't calm you. It only raises more questions. So what does Papoose do after hearing that? Well, according to people close to the situation, he doesn't just sit around. He goes into full detective mode, searching through old emails, private messages, and even accounts that were supposed to be secret. And what he finds shakes him to his core. He comes across an email from back in 2011. It simply says, "Miami was different." That alone might not sound alarming. But it was sent to a private Gmail address using Remy Ma's nickname from that time, something only close insiders would know. Even more suspicious. It wasn't signed with a full name, just J, not Fat Joe. But anyone from the Bronx knows who that could mean. Digging deeper, the email's metadata reveals it came from an IP address tied to a Bronx studio, leased by Terror Squad, the group led by Fat Joe, the entertainment team. Continues to deny it's from Joe. They say it's a misunderstanding, a coincidence. But the streets are already buzzing. And when whispers start in the Bronx, the truth isn't usually far behind. Soon, an underground podcast drops a blind item, a veiled story about a well-known NYC rapper whose loyalty was tested by a queen surrounded by too many kings. The timing is suspicious. The fans start to connect the dots. Then Twitter catches fire. A now-deleted tweet from someone claiming to be part of the inner circle hints at a leaked video. That's when hashtags like hashtag Joe and Remy, hashtag PAPOOSE deserves better, and hashtag Remygate begin trending. On Reddit, the conversation blows up. People are sharing screenshots, gossip, and speculations. The rumor mill is in full motion. Amid all this chaos, word gets out that Papoose has moved into the guest house. Some fans think he's left their shared home altogether, but those closest to him say he's just taking time to think, to process. Meanwhile, Remy Ma keeps posting like nothing's wrong. She shares photos from the studio and motivational quotes on Instagram. But she avoids saying anything directly about the situation. One post simply reads, "Be a realist." Fat Joe, who's usually quick to go live or speak out, is completely silent. Not even a cryptic tweet. That's when things get even more intense. Fan digs up an old interview from a 2005 Terror Squad DVD. The video is grainy. The audio isn't great, but you can clearly see Fat Joe and Remy sitting close together in a behind-the-scenes clip. At one point, Joe leans in and says, "I'll ride for her till the wheels fall off. My heart is there." Back then, people thought it was just loyalty, like an older brother looking out for his sister. But now, in light of everything, those words take on a new meaning. Sounds less like family and more like something deeper, something personal. One source says Papoose reached out to a journalist he trusted, someone who had once covered Remy's legal battles. Papoose, known for his calm and private nature, reportedly said, "Do you think the world is ready for something I'm about to send you?" What he had wasn't just a random file, it was something powerful. The original file found on that iPad was only labeled Part 1. The second file had a chilling name, room_714_fold. Insiders say this second clip might not just show the hotel hallway, it might contain everything that happened inside the room. Everything. According to someone very close to the situation. This video argue he just went silent. It's when you know it's real. When a man like him doesn't even have the words anymore. 4 minutes after Remy and Joe entered the hotel room, the footage begins. The hallway. Camera picks up dim light spilling from the room. There's a half-eaten room service tray outside the door. At first, all you hear are soft voices, like to people trying to talk their way out of doing something they know they shouldn't. Then, Joe's voice becomes clear. "You know what this is?" And Remy replies, "It was never meant to get this far." It's 10 words. Just 10. But they turn all the gray areas into black and white. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a business meeting gone wrong. This was something real, something personal, and it had been kept hidden for a long time. That's reportedly when Papoose paused the video, stood up, and left the room. He didn't come back for hours. And when he did, he didn't speak a single word. But by then, it was too late. Word had already started to spread. Someone had leaked that Papoose had seen the footage. That little piece of info was enough to start an avalanche. Within a day, hip-hop blogs started posting cryptic hints. Some said a power couple was in crisis. Others pointed fingers at a legendary Bronx figure at the center of a scandal. Radio shows danced around the topic, never saying names, but their tone gave it all away. Meanwhile, Joe's team reportedly went into crisis mode, trying to get videos taken down before they reached too many views. They issued takedown requests, contacted platforms, and worked all night to clean things up. Remy's social media also shifted. She deleted her latest Instagram story and replaced it with a simple word. "Sorry." No context, no hashtags. Number. More mentions of black love or music projects. Just silence. And so, the damage is done. Whether or not the full video comes out, the whispers have already grown into a storm. People are watching, listening, waiting, and in the middle of it all stands Papoose, a man torn between love, loyalty, and a truth he never expected to face. The truth behind the silence. Papoose, Remy Ma, and Fat Joe, a relationship unraveling. Papoose recently shared a post on his social media account that hasn't been edited or changed. The caption read, "Loyalty is only real when it's tested." That simple line sparked a storm. There were no tags, no mention of Remy Ma, and no location attached, just silence. But fans noticed, and it didn't take long before they began digging through old videos and interviews for clues. One clip from 2005 started making the rounds again. In it, Fat Joe sits beside Remy, gazing at her with emotion and saying, "That's my heart. I'll ride for her till the wheels fall off." At the time, it sounded like friendly support, maybe even admiration. But with everything now coming to light, those words feel heavier, possibly even suggestive. Then another piece surfaced, an old podcast from nearly a decade ago. In it, a tipsy Fat Joe joked, "If Remy ever left Papoose, she'd come home where she belongs." The crowd laughed, brushing it off as just banter. But now, it's hard not to hear it differently, more like a hidden truth disguised as humor. The real shock, however, came when Papoose reportedly received a backup video file sent anonymously to a private Dropbox owned by a respected documentary company. According to sources close to the situation, series titled Remy and Joe. This is no longer just gossip, it's turning into a full-blown digital expose. The entertainment industry is already reacting. One PR firm has quietly distanced itself from Fat Joe, and a major brand that was planning a hair care deal with Remy has allegedly walked away from the table. Behind closed doors, legal teams are combing through old footage, locking down non-disclosure agreements, and bracing for more fallout. Remy Ma was once seen as a fighter, a woman who overcame prison and stood strong beside her husband. Papoose wasn't just her partner. He became a symbol of loyalty, someone who waited and stayed by her side through everything. Fat Joe, too, had a legacy as the Bronx legend who helped artists rise again. But now, that storybook image has been shattered. Papoose is said to have moved into a new apartment in Midtown Manhattan. He's been spotted at local open mic nights, alone, wearing no wedding ring, just carrying a notebook. Neither Remy nor Fat Joe has released a public statement. But insiders claim Joe is planning a live performance soon, and if it happens, it will likely draw massive attention. Still, people aren't just asking if